Good afternoon or good morning, everyone, depending on where you are. Let's wait just a minute. We've got a few more people who are coming in. I'm sorry, you didn't need me. You didn't need to hear me making silly noises while I was waiting for people to come in. Blair, I'm glad it made you chuckle.
It was much better than the obnoxious elevator music sometimes people play. It was good.
I could work on that. Hello, Fayetteville. All right, I'm going to give it one more minute and then we will get started and there will be a quiz for the people who arrive late. How does that sound? Hello, York County. Hello, Scottsbluff, Nebraska. Hello, West Virginia. Hello, Everett, Washington. That's definitely hello from Alaska. Okay, you win the prize, Diana. Well, thank you for everybody who is saying hello in the chat. And again, good afternoon and or good morning, depending on where you are geographically. And welcome to this month's edition of the NHSA Advocacy Lunch slash Breakfast slash Brunch and Learn series. Today's program visits, you can do them too. I am Bob Beeson, NHSA's Senior Director of Government Affairs. I am joined by Blair Hyatt, our Senior Director of State Affairs, who will jump in later. But I just wanted to welcome everybody to this. I'm glad that we have so many people who are interested in getting involved in doing program visits if you have not already done them. Let me just say on this opening slide, there are two members of Congress here that I wanted to show to give you an idea of the type of interaction that they get to have with our kiddos when they are in programs. In the upper right-hand corner is Congressman Juan Ciscomani, who is a Republican from the 6th District of Arizona. And in the lower left-hand corner is Brittany Pedersen, who is a Democrat from the 7th District of Colorado. And the reason that I put these two on the front page is because they are both freshman members of Congress. They are serving in their first terms. And we got them in to visit Head Start programs in their first year in Congress. And it is great when we can get members in to see the tremendous work that our programs are doing to benefit the kids, the families, and the communities in which they are operating when they are first into office. So we're going to talk about that in a little bit, but I want to just showcase that with you. So as we discussed, we are here to talk member program visits. And when I say member, we are talking not about NHSA members, not about state association members, but about members of Congress. I apologize for not spelling that out. Um, we kind of talk in shorthand here. And when I talk about members, I'm talking about members of Congress. So here, once again, and you will see that there's a theme in this, I am showcasing member visits on a lot of these slides. That is Rosa DeLauro from the 3rd District of Connecticut. That is on this slide, or that is on, well, she is literally on this slide and on a slide. But she had a great time interacting with the kids at LULAC Head Start in New Haven. So you've heard me and Blair and Tommy and Yasmina and others talk about this on a number of occasions. But hosting members of Congress at your program is one of the most powerful ways to illustrate the value of Head Start and to show these lawmakers the incredible work that you are doing and provide them with memory making experiences that hopefully will help them when they are making key votes or key decisions in Congress. You can, you know, you can describe to a member or their staff the value of your program. You can do it in a letter, in an email, in a phone call, in a meeting where you encounter them at a town hall meeting or at a county fair or something like that. But literally, the most impactful and especially the most tangible opportunity to do this is when you are able to get them into your program. So, as I said, we're going to talk about the hows, the whys, and the whens of scheduling such a visit. So, why are these visits important? Like I said, they are tangible memory making experiences. Um, and really, they're not just that, they're also very educational for these members of Congress. We had a freshman member of Congress visited a program earlier this year. And when they walked into the program and the director started talking about their needs and what we were looking for in terms of funding, the member of Congress turned and said, "You mean this is a federally funded program?" Now, this is a member that doesn't serve on appropriations or on the Education and the Workforce Committee, but they were a freshman who had not held elected office before, and it was literally their first time learning about Head Start. So, those types of opportunities are really good. They ended up sharing some great stuff on their social media. I've had a couple of great visits with their staff since then. So these are opportunities that we need to try to utilize whenever possible. They are an opportunity not just to interact with kids and sit down and read a book, snap a picture, and head out the door, but it's an opportunity to meet with the staff, to meet with parents, to meet with your policy council, and to really get an understanding not just of what you are doing with your grant funds and how you are impacting these kids, their families, and your communities, but also why you need increased funds. I had a program that reached out to me earlier this year that was going to host a member of Congress, and they had a couple of classrooms closed, not because of staff shortages, but because they needed a new AC, some new windows, et cetera, et cetera. I said, bring them in there. Don't shy from your needs. Showcase both your successes and your needs because that can be incredibly helpful. This is also a media opportunity for your program and for the member. If the member can get a picture of them sitting on the floor reading a book with a group of kids and stuff like that, that they can share with the local media or even on their social media, it's a great opportunity for them, and they almost never turn it down if they can make it work. So when should you invite members to visit? Especially this year, or I should say next year, 2025, both the House and the Senate are going to be working on very tight, very full schedules. But there are going to be some congressional recesses, the biggest of which is coming up. There's going to be a 2-week recess the week before and after Easter in April. So I know that some of your programs will be closed then as well, but there should be some opportunities in those dates to get somebody like Congressman Zach Nunn here in this picture from the 3rd District in Iowa to come and visit one of your programs. So when there is a congressional recess coming up, we will let you know so that you can engage or excuse me, invite your members. If Congress is going to be in session, but you have an event that is coming up and you want to try to get a member to visit, you can invite them to come either on a Monday morning or a Friday afternoon. Tricia, I saw your question. I'll get to you. I'll get to that in just a second. Actually, I'm going to jump on these questions now before they escape. In conflicting guidance as to whether or not we should invite partisan elected officials at our programs, yes. They are your elected official. They are your member of Congress. You know, when we get close to the election, if there are folks running against each other, then you probably want to try them both. But at least for the next 18 months, your member of Congress, they may be a Republican, they may be a Democrat, they may be an independent, but they are your elected official. They are the ones that are funding Head Start, and you should not shy away from inviting them to come and visit. There is no problem with you doing that. Absolutely none at all. So back to when they're in session, especially if you're in the central or the eastern time zones, you can generally try to invite members on a Monday morning or a Friday afternoon, which are not the most perfect times, obviously, to come and visit, but that is when they are likely to be available and have the opportunity to do it. There also may be some specific times when we at NHSA are engaged in some type of specific advocacy activity where visits would be extremely helpful. We will, of course, let you know if that is going to be happening and if there is a specific date or time or week that we would like you to invite members to visit. And also, I will say every time you reach out to an office, you should invite them, you should invite the member to visit. I have a monthly email that I send up to about 800 email or about 800 staff people on Capitol Hill every single month. I open and close that email by inviting members and or staff to come and visit. There's never too many invites that are extended. We want them to know that they are always welcome, and we would always love to have them come and visit. So how should you make the invite? And the congresswoman in this picture is Sarah Jacobs from the 51st District in Southern California. She is a Democrat member. She has been a huge supporter of Head Start. She has spoken almost every time we have had a breakfast or a rally at our Leadership Institute in the last 3 years. She has been there. So, how should you make the invite? You can always call the member's office and get the names and email addresses of both the Washington and the district or state-based schedulers. I will put this number, if you would, write it down. I will drop it in the chat. The number for the Capitol, if I can spell correctly, the Capitol switchboard number is 202-225-3121. If you call that number, that is the Capitol switchboard. They will connect you to any member of the House or the Senate that you would like to reach out to. So if you don't have the number directly for your member of Congress, feel free to reach out directly through the switchboard and just get the names and hopefully the email addresses of those schedulers. Each office works a little bit differently. Some of them, Washington schedulers only work on events that are happening in Washington. Others work on events that are happening in the district separately from Washington. But generally, if you want to send an invitation to visit a program, it would be great to include both of those schedulers in your invitation. Oops, sorry, jumped ahead there for a minute. You should send an open-ended email invitation to both of those schedulers at the beginning of each calendar year. And you're saying, why an open-ended invitation? I will tell you what, it works fabulously. What you just want to do is say, I am Sally Smith. I am the director of ABCDEFG Head Start in wherever. And we would love to have the congressman, the congresswoman, the senator, or their staff visit at any time when they are in the district. The reason that that is effective is because there are a lot of times when the schedulers are going to be putting together a day of meetings in a certain part of the state or the congressional district. And they're putting it together, and all of a sudden, they've got 90 minutes to fill. And they are going to look in their file and they're going to see, what do I have in Tulsa? Or what do I have in Plainview? Or what do I have in Wausau that the member could do? I get calls like that or emails like that from schedulers all the time. Some of you may have experienced where I have called you up and said, hi, Congressman so-and-so would like to visit. Oh, great. When? Tomorrow morning at 9:30. That's not usually perfect, but it does sometimes happen. And I am thrilled to say that some of you have helped turn those around in short time so that we've been able to get members to visit. But if you send an open-ended email like that, the more that you can get those in, the better off we are of getting as many members as possible to visit. Somebody just direct messaged me. Thank you, Katya. You're right. I should have said, um, you know, talk about this being the 60th. Talk about when you send your invitation letter at the beginning of next year, that this is the 60th anniversary of Head Start in 2025. And we would love to have the member come and commemorate that occasion. So as I said on here, if you send a specific detailed invite with dates, if possible, if you have a meeting, conclude ribbon cuttings, policy council meetings, a graduation, all those things like that. If there's something specific that you would like a member to come and do, send that as well. But send that in addition to your open-ended invitation that you send at the beginning of the year. So the bottom line on member visits, and this picture is Congressman Pete Stauber from the 8th Congressional District in Minnesota. I should say that Congressman Stauber has led our appropriations request letter on the House side among Republicans for the last 2 years. And he has been a very vocal and staunch supporter of Head Start. So again, this is an incredibly powerful way to illustrate the value of Head Start to members of Congress. It allows you to show the unique, innovative ways that Head Start is providing high quality services in the communities that these members of Congress represent. It allows you to showcase Head Start's comprehensive multi-generational model. And again, it gives these members experiences to keep in mind when they are making funding decisions on Capitol Hill. So Blair, do you want to touch base a little bit in terms of the benefits to the programs themselves?
I will. We have a question here about when in the year. You said every year, and they were kind of asking when in the year do you do those open invites that you recommended? And then I'll step.
When they come back after the holidays. So if you're sending uh, an email, for example, this year, welcoming these members saying, congratulations on your election or your reelection. Welcome to Congress. We look forward to your support of Head Start, and we would love to have you visit at your convenience during the year. You can do it again January the following year.
Thanks. That's excellent. If people aren't following the chat, NHSA does have a toolkit that we'll share with you about doing a visit. But I want to just say one quick piece here about there's there's a need, there's a real reason that we are asking people to make sure that program visits happen because of all the things that Bob just said. And we also want to remind you that this is really also, while it's work, it's some places people really like it when people do program visits because the staff likes the chance to show off their program, the strengths of their program, and really get a chance to just notice how effective they are, and it places you as a leader in your community. So we just want to remind people that there's benefits towards how advocacy needs to happen in the big picture, but there's also things that happen for the program directly by doing these visits. And it's also just a chance for parents and staff to develop a bigger understanding of advocacy and skills and confidence in being advocates. So we just want to remind you of those benefits, the short-term benefits, and how that fits in there. That's it. Thank you, Bob.
Thanks, Blair.
Yep.
And to Blair's comment, this is, I know that that Courtney put the link to our toolkit in the chat. Here is a link as well. If you want to snap a quick picture of this, it'll be on your phone forever and ever and ever until you close it. And you can use it to help visit. If it is helpful, one thing that I should note is that when you go to this link, the visit toolkit is on there in both English and in Spanish. So that may be helpful to you as well. So with that in mind, I want to say thank you. I have done program visits as well, although I am not an elected member, but you know, I love doing it. We've got a few minutes. Again, I'm thrilled to see this many people on the call. I would love to answer any questions that you may have. Blair is available as well. Or if anybody has any comments on things that they did that helped make a program visit that they had work especially well with a member or something like that that you want to share with the group, that would be great as well.
Hey, Bob, we have a question here. It says our service area covers several congressional districts and we have a big event happening. Is there any sensitivity about inviting representatives who are in our service area but don't represent the location of the event?
I would, if you're going to do that, what I would do is I would point that out very specifically in your invitations. If Congresswoman Smith is the person that represents where the event is being held, I would point that out. And if Congressman Adams and Congresswoman Jones represent part of your service area, but not in the area where you are going to be meeting, I would invite them. I would point that out, and I would ask them, at least if they couldn't visit, to send a letter that could be that one of two things: send a letter that could be read at the event, or to invite a staff person to come and attend if the member cannot attend.
We have another question, Bob. What
Mhm.
are the rules and guidelines to avoid, quote, bribing? Are there any inappropriate things to do, lobbying, those kinds of issues?
Well, you asked two completely different questions there. And I'm
Well,
gonna address the bribing question first. If a member comes to visit and you want to, I'm not saying you have to, but I'm just saying if you want to give them a plaque commemorating their visit or some kids' art thanking them for coming to visit that they can hang in their office or something like that, you can certainly do that. There is no restriction on that. In terms of lobbying versus advocacy, you can have, when a member is visiting, it's the same as if you are visiting a member in their office. You can talk about the importance of Head Start. You can talk about, the things that you are looking for in terms of federal support. What you don't want to say is, we are really, really, really supporting House Bill 1234 or Senate File 5678. And we really, really need you to do that. Now, you can do that, but you need to be careful that your total amount of time, it becomes very technical and things like that. So you can do that, but I would do it almost in passing. We are also, Blair or Courtney, maybe you know where this is, but I know that we have another one of these sessions that we did on advocacy versus lobbying that could be helpful to you in a situation like that. There you go. Thank you very much, Courtney. And it goes into the nuances. So again, please snatch that out of the chat, and that will be helpful to you going forward. There's been a lot in the chat. There's probably other questions that I've missed.
I think we've got most of the chat questions. The last one that Drew just did, you pretty much covered it as he placed it in there. Oh, here's another one. Can we talk about the importance of funding for our overall success and ability to provide services?
Yes, yes, you can, Anne. That is something you can certainly talk about. You can talk about the fact that you are having workforce issues due to disparity in wages with the local school district or with the Walmart across the street and things like that. That is something that you can most certainly talk about and honestly should talk about.
I think that's all of it from the chat, Bob. It's good.
Well, again, we will share this recording with you. And I believe when we share it, there will be a link to all the others in the series so that you can be able to go back and look at that session on advocacy versus lobbying as well. Again, this is my email and phone number. Um, you can always reach out to me or to Blair or to any of our colleagues at NHSA. And if we can't answer your question, we will get you in touch with the appropriate colleague who can do that. You can email us at advocacy@nhsa.org if you want to get all of us, and it'll end up at the right person. But the more the merrier, the more visits that we can get from members, the better off we will all be, and the better educated our members of Congress will be as they are making critical decisions about Head Start in the next months and in the next years. Somebody asked me something about something memorable. I saw that in the chat. What I just said reminded me of something. I was meeting with somebody very early on in my time at Head Start at NHSA. And I was talking to them about getting their member of Congress to come visit. And their member of Congress, I knew who that member of Congress was. I had a relationship with the staff in that member's office, and I knew that member was a big supporter of Head Start. But I still think that even when they are big supporters of Head Start, we want them to come out. We want them to visit the program. We want them to share something on their social media about going to visit a program so that their constituents can see how important it is to them. And I said, well, when's the last time Congressman so-and-so has visited? And this director said, well, it doesn't really matter because, he's a huge supporter. We don't have to worry about him. And I said, well, when? He goes, well, he was here not that long ago. And I said, when? And he thought about it and he said, probably 10 years ago. You know, they were probably a Head Start supporter 10 years ago. There's a Head Start supporter now, but I guarantee that director that there were things that were being done in the classroom and with families that were different than what they were 10 years ago. And I encouraged him to invite that member of Congress to come and do that, make a visit. Those are important. In a perfect world, I would love to see them visit every year or at least once every Congress. So, like I said, the more the merrier. That's my tie into the holiday season with the use of the term merrier. There's your dad joke, Courtney. I saw you referenced it earlier. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. You know where to reach us. And if we don't see you on another Zoom or something like this between now and the end of the year, have a great holiday season and hopefully you get a chance to relax a little bit. Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.